What is up, everybody? Welcome to CTF Strong Talks Football and happy Friday. Today I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion on the best quarterback of all time on each NFL team. Trust me, there will be some obvious ones here. There will also be some controversies. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to the ranking and let's get right to it. Alright, we're going to go through each division. We're going to start off with the AFC East. The best quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, in my personal opinion, is Jim Kelly. Now, don't get me wrong, Josh Allen is right there. I think after, a few more seasons, Josh Allen is going to pass Jim Kelly as the best QB for that team. But I think Jim Kelly is the best right now just because he has by far the most passing yards. He has the best stats. And he took them to all four of their Super Bowl appearances. Now, frankly, he lost all four of them. But at the same time, Josh Allen hasn't went to a Super Bowl yet. Jim Kelly went to four of them. So, as long as with his stats, that alone, Jim Kelly's the best right now. Up next, we got the Miami Dolphins, and it's Dan Marino. There's no question here. Shout-outs to Bob Greasy because he was also a great quarterback there, but when you compare him to Dan Marino, it's not even close. Dan Marino was by far the best passer. He was one of, if not the best passer around his time frame, and he won them the most games in my personal opinion. He was a great quarterback, laces out. All right, next we got the New England Patriots, and it's Tom Brady. We already know it's Tom Brady, and it will forever be Tom Brady. Greatest quarterback of all time, made passing look like it was way too easy, won 6 Super Bowl rings with the team, went to 9 of them, and even though Drew Bledsoe was great too, Tom Brady replaced him for a reason. He was by far the best quarterback, and he is the best quarterback we're ever going to watch. And the last team we got in the AFC East is the New York Jets, and we got our first controversial one here. It is Ken O'Brien. I know what you're thinking. How is it not Joe Namath? Well, let me show you. Now, don't get me wrong. Joe Namath did win them their one and only Super Bowl, but when you look at the number comparison here, it's not even close. Yes, Joe Namath might have had more passing yards, but look at this. Ken O'Brien had 124 passing touchdowns to 95 picks. That's pretty decent. Now, when you look at Joe Namath, 170 touchdowns to 215 interceptions. That's fucking atrocious. And the craziest part is that Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame with those shitty numbers. No, Ken O'Brien is the best QB on the Jets. Alright, now we're into the AFC North with the Cleveland Browns. We got an ancient one here. We got Otto Graham. When I say ancient, I mean ancient. This was way before the Super Bowl era. 1946 was his rookie year. Now, he is the best quarterback the Browns have ever had. Now, he didn't have as much passing yards as Brian Sipe. His numbers weren't as good as him. But Otto Graham won them the most championships, even before the Super Bowl era. Now, that doesn't count towards the Super Bowl era, but they won more with him. Alright, next we got the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't give a shit what people say. It is Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is by far their best quarterback they've ever had. Now, I know what you're thinking. You got Ken Anderson. You got Boomer. You got Carson Palmer. You got Andy Dalton. Those are all great QBs, but none of them are as talented as Joe Burrow. He is by far their best QB. He took him to the Super Bowl only on his second year. He has one of the best talents I've ever seen out of a quarterback. Just his ability just to throw like it's nothing is insane. Joe Burrow is great. Next we got the Baltimore Ravens, and for the Ravens it's Joe Flacco. Now I will say Lamar Jackson is right on his tail when it comes to that. He's really close to surpassing him. I think he is personally more talented than Joe Flacco, but there's only a couple things that are holding Joe Flacco over Lamar right now, and is the time he spent in Baltimore so far, and that he actually got the job done. He's won a Super Bowl. He won them a ring. That's the only reasons why he is above Lamar right now. And finally, for the AFC North teams, we got the Steelers, and the best QB for them all time was Big Ben Roethlisberger. I know what you're thinking. Terry Bradshaw, he is a very good candidate. He does have 4 Super Bowl rings. I really do admire that. But out of sheer talent and out of just consistency, Big Ben is better. Terry Bradshaw was great, but he was very inconsistent. Big Ben, not only has he won them a couple Super Bowls, but he was a gunslinger. He was very good. Alright, now we're on to the AFC South. We got the Houston Texans, and I am not kidding you, it's CJ Stroud. Now, I know he's only on year 3 this season, and, he hasn't played as long as, prime Deshaun Watson or Matt Schwab, or even David Carr. But if we're talking, pure talent, CJ Stroud is by far the best out of all of them. CJ Stroud passes them all. Alright, next we got the Indianapolis Colts. It's Peyton Manning. It's super simple. It's Peyton Manning, obviously. Now, it would be unfair to not mention guys like Johnny Unitas or Andrew Luck because they were both great, but Peyton Manning was by far the best quarterback they've ever had. and in my opinion, the second greatest QB to ever play the game. Next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. This one is Mark Brunell. This one was really tough. It's just because the Jaguars are such a young franchise, so there weren't that many options to go with other than Mark Brunell. Like a couple of them, the quarterbacks they have were good, but this was like the only great quarterback the Jaguars have had. Like, there weren't many options out there. Next, we got the Tennessee Titans / Houston Oilers. We got Warren Moon. Shout out to Steve McNair and I guess Vince Young, but Warren Moon is by far the best quarterback they've ever had. Like, he was an elite passer, really good scrambler too. Like, he was overall a great quarterback. And finally, out of the AFC, we got the AFC West. First, we got the Denver Broncos, and the best quarterback to ever play for them was John Elway. Now, don't get me wrong, Peyton Manning, when he came over to Denver, he was great as well, but like, no one will be as good over in Denver as John Elway was. He won them 2 Super Bowl rings. He was elite. He was an elite passer. He won them 2 Super Bowls. And plus, he's also, like, still the owner over there. Like, he still has a huge part of their franchise. When you think of the face of the entire Broncos franchise out of their whole history, you're going to think of John Elway. He's the face. Alright, the best quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs is... fuck this guy. Patrick Mahomes. I hate this answer so much, but it's just the truth. He's won them 3 Super Bowl rings. By far the most talented quarterback they've ever had. By far the most talented quarterback they're ever going to have. And yeah, like, it's pretty simple. I hate this guy so much, but it's the correct answer. Mahomes is the best QB to ever play for the Chiefs. Up next, we got the Raiders. This was a very interesting one, but it's Ken Stabler. Now, when you look at the stats, it actually is Derek Carr who had the greatest stats for the Raiders. That's honestly, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. But when you think of, like, team impact, who's done the most for this franchise, it's Ken Stabler. Like, Derek Carr was great, but Ken Stabler was an absolute flamethrower. Like, Ken is the best quarterback on this team. And finally, the last team out of the AFC, we got the LA Chargers. We got Phillip Rivers. Now, he isn't the most accomplished QB out there, but when you look at his stats in his career, he was very solid. Like, he had really good passing numbers. He won the Chargers a good amount of games, even though he didn't take them to a single Super Bowl. Like, he was a very, very good quarterback, whether you like him or you hate him. Now, Justin Herbert is very similar to him. I wouldn't be shocked if he passed him in the future. But right now, Phillip Rivers is by far the best quarterback they've ever had. Alright, next we got the NFC. Starting off with the NFC East, we got the Dallas Cowboys. We have got Troy Aikman. No, it is not Robert Staubach, even though for a while I really thought he was. And it is not for sure Dak Prescott or Tony Romo. It is Troy Aikman. Now, Troy Aikman and Robert Staubach are very similar, but the only difference is that Troy Aikman had the better stats. They did both win the same amount of Pro Bowls, but Troy Aikman did win more Super Bowls, while Troy Aikman has won 3, Staubach has won 2, so I'm going to take Troy Aikman here. Next, we got the New York Giants, and the best quarterback they ever had is Eli Manning. This has got to be one of the most overhated future Hall of Fame quarterbacks, like, ever, dude. People actually hate this guy because he's inconsistent, and he's not as good as what everybody says. I disagree. He is one of the best passers the NFL has ever seen, and he has won 2 Super Bowls, and both of them were against the best quarterback of all time. Like, Eli Manning is the greatest the Giants have ever had. Alright, next we got the Philadelphia Eagles, and the best quarterback to ever play for them was Donovan McNabb. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Randall Cunningham. I thought he was extremely talented. He was an excellent quarterback on his own right. But Donovan McNabb was electric, man. He took them to a couple Super Bowls, even though he didn't win any. But when he did play there, he was absolutely electric. He was a great quarterback. Now, I will say, though, he did not win them many Super Bowls. Nick Foles and Jalen Hurts were the only ones to get that job done. I'm just saying. Next, we got the Washington Commanders. It kind of sounds wrong to say Commanders. Okay, Washington Redskins. The best Washington Redskins quarterback they've ever had was Joe Theismann. Absolutely elite quarterback. He put his entire career on the line for this team. He won them a couple Super Bowls. He was absolutely great. Like, he was an amazing quarterback. Next, we got the NFC North. We got the Chicago Bears, and the best QB to ever play for them is Jay Cutler. This is a sad list because the Bears have really never had, like, a great quarterback before. I mean, Jay Cutler was good, but compared to the other quarterbacks on this list, like, it's not even close. Alright, next we got the Detroit Lions. The best quarterback they've ever had is by far Matthew Stafford. Now, he hasn't won them anything, but no other QB has yet, but like, he was by far their best quarterback they've ever had. He was, like, probably the only great quarterback they've ever had, other than Jared Goff finally coming in. Alright, next we got the Green Bay Packers, the best quarterback to ever play for them. Whether you love him or you hate him, it's Aaron Rodgers. Huge shout outs to Brett Favre and Bart Starr here, because both of those guys are great in their own right, and they're both Hall of Famers on them by themselves. But the most talented and best quarterback the Packers have ever had is Aaron Rodgers. He was by far the best passer. Now, Brett Favre did have more yards and more touchdowns, but he threw way more interceptions, and Aaron Rodgers won him a couple more rings, so I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers here. Next, we got the Vikings. The best quarterback to ever play for them was Frank Tarkenton. Now, Kirk Cousins was great over there too, but Frank Tarkenton was miles better. He was a better passer, and he won them more games. I'm going to take Frank here. He is by far the best quarterback they've ever had. Alright, next we got the NFC South. The best quarterback to ever play for the Falcons is Matt Ryan. I know Michael Vick is up there with most people. Like, I think Michael Vick was great in his own right, even though he did not have the greatest past or he wasn't the best person. But when you look at who's the best for the Falcons, it's Matt Ryan. He was by far the better passer. He won them the most games, and he took them to a Super Bowl. Michael Vick did none of that. Alright, next we got the Carolina Panthers. I hate this one, but it's Cam Newton. I hate this one because not only do I not like Cam Newton as a person, but Cam Newton is not like even close to a Hall of Fame quarterback. But he is by far the best QB the Panthers have ever had. Like, when you look at the list, nobody was as good as Cam Newton. Even though I think Cam was a shitty passer, you have to admit when he was in his prime, he was a damn good player, and he probably did deserve that MVP he got. He did take them to a Super Bowl, even though they lost. But, like, I just don't like Cam Newton, man. He was great when he played, but, man, I don't like this one at all. Alright, next we got the New Orleans Saints, and it is by far Drew Brees. Archie Manning was great as well, but he's not even close to Drew Brees. Drew Brees, in my opinion, in his prime, was the most accurate passer to ever play the game. Like, he won them a Super Bowl. He should have had 2 rings, but if it wasn't for the refs playing favored to the Rams in 2018, he could have 2. He got snubbed by MVP. Like, he should have won an MVP as well. But, like, other than that, Drew Brees is one of, if not one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Up next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is it wrong to say Tom Brady? Like, when you look at the list, nobody's even close other than Jameis Winston stat-wise. But Tom Brady only played for the Bucs for 3 years, and he accomplished the most out of any other QB the Bucs have, like, the Bucs have had. Like, I have to be honest. I will still say this, Tom. Drew Brees still owns you as a Buccaneer. I'm just saying. Just don't talk about the playoff game. That one still hurts. And finally, we've got the NFC West. Starting off with the Arizona Cardinals, we've got Carson Palmer. This one was the hardest one by far because when you look at the list, there really wasn't a single quarterback other than him and Kurt Warner that I thought were good. Like, even Kyler Murray's up there, and his stats are pretty solid, but we already know how he is right now. Like, he's not the best quarterback, like one of the best quarterbacks for the Cardinals. So this one might be wrong, but this one was really hard to choose. Cardinals fans, please let me know who you think. Up next, we got the LA Rams. I've got Kurt Warner. Now, if you look at the stats, like, he might be lower, but when you're talking pure talent, Kurt Warner is the most talented quarterback they've ever had. Now, shout-outs to Jared Goff. He was great over there. Shout-outs to Matthew Stafford. He's been great over there, but I think by far Kurt Warner's been the best quarterback they've had. Alright, next we got the San Francisco 49ers. The best quarterback to ever play for them is obviously Joe Montana. Huge shout-outs to Steve Young because he is also one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. But when you try to compare him to Joe Montana, it's honestly not close. He is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Like, if you go ask your dad or your grandfather who they think the best quarterback is of all time, unless they've watched, like, a lot of football around, like, this time frame, they're going to say Joe Montana. Like, you can't go wrong with Joe Montana. And finally, the last team we got is the Seattle Seahawks. The best quarterback to ever play for them is Russell Wilson. I know nowadays we're starting to forget how great Russell Wilson used to be in his prime because he hasn't been playing the best football lately. But, like, here's a reminder. Like, when he was a Seattle Seahawks, he's probably a future Hall of Famer, dude. He was an elite quarterback. He won 2 Super Bowl rings for the Seahawks. He was absolutely dominant. He was a very good mobile quarterback as well. Like, Russell Wilson is a great quarterback and the best to play for the Seahawks. And there you guys have it. That was me giving you guys the best quarterback of all time for every NFL team. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below who you think the best quarterback is for your team all time. Let me know what your favorite quarterback of all time is. With all that said, that's where I'm going to be done for the day. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn on notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos whenever I post. I hope you guys have a fantastic week and weekend. See you guys next time.